So now that we've unwrapped the gun, it's time to take our unwrap and put it into Photoshop. And the only thing I've done since the last tutorial is just went into the UV and sized everything up as much as possible, so we're not wasting any space. As you can see, all the checkers are kind of half decent sizes. Nothing too, other than the clip there, sort of warped or anything. So what we're going to do, let's go into our edit on the UV modifier, and we're going to go Tools, Render UV Map. Right, by default your seam edges will be a green colour. What we do is just take that down to white. You really want to untick show overlap. I'm going to do 1024 by 1024, and we're just going to hit render. So you end up with this nice white and black UV map. I'm just going to save that to block2.jpg. Save. Okay. Now we've got the UV map. We're going to drag that into Photoshop. Bang. So what I'm going to do in this tutorial is really just create the base texture. And this is one I've just been fiddling with. If I've got time I might go into doing the clip, but probably not. I think I'll just get the actual base itself done and then see how it goes from there. So first thing we want to do is just organise our UV map. What you want really is when you're mapping, you want to be able to see your UV map as you're texturing, obviously, to kind of see what's what and where you're texturing. And what a lot of people do is they'll make a copy of their original map and put it on something like overlay or multiply or screen to kind of try and get rid of all the black, which I personally don't like doing. I'm going to show you another little way of doing it. So what we're going to do, you're going to create a new layer, select a blue or any other sort of bright colour you want, and just totally fill the layer. What we're going to do is make a quick mask. And a quick mask is basically a way of selecting areas. I'll show you what I mean. So we're just going to select this black and white layer at the bottom, hold down Control-C to copy. And then what you're going to do is press Q, and this puts you into quick mask mode. And what you'll notice is that when you paint, let me get a slightly bigger brush, what you're painting turns sort of a reddy purpley colour. When you hit Q, you'll notice that it's made a selection, and what is selected is everything you haven't coloured in. You can change that. So what some of you might guess is that I'm just going to hit quick mask and I'm going to Control V, and now that has made a selection, which is my UV map. I'm going to hit Q again. Right, if I press, basically it's selected everything which is white. So what we want to do is Control-Shift-I to select the invert, so we've selected everything which was black, and we're just going to hit delete, and then I'm going to Control-D to deselect. So that basically made our UV, which is going to be, I'm just going to double click there and call it guide. I'm just going to call this one, I don't know, bottom, bottom. Right. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm a bit of an organisation freak, so you're going to have to put up with that and me changing the names of everything. But again, it helps down the whole process of things. Right. So we're going to create a base metal. First of all, we're going to select the two greys. And I've selected sort of a medium-y sort of grey, and then I've pressed X, which is a change here. You can have two colours selected at any one time, and as you hit X it will swap through those two colours, as you can see. Okay, so I've selected two greys, one sort of a slightly darker grey and one a slightly lighter grey. I'm going to just filter, render clouds. Let's hide our UV map, which gives us a nice sort of random mix of junk. I'm going to add noise at around 15 to 20 on Gaussian and monochronic. This just basically makes it black and white. I mean, I don't know any technical terms, but As you can see there, it's all coloured dotties, but we don't want that. We just want black and white. So we want chronic. And then we want to do blur, Gaussian blur, just on 1 pixel, which will slightly blur everything. And that basically, doing those two, sets you up to use the artistic filter of palette knife. If you don't do those two, the filter won't really work or come out with the results that we want. So you can see it's sort of speck, I don't know, slightly rocky, I guess, I don't know. So stroke size 15, detail 3, that will do. Just hit OK. Right, then we're going to create a second layer. We're going to again go noise, add noise. Select them. Filter. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm going to select 2 slightly darker greys than I did last time. So I've just gone up a few notches. Filter, render clouds, filter, noise, add noise, OK, filter, so I just realised I was going to do something totally different to this, but I can't really be bothered to start again. I was going to show you how actions work. Okay, so this time we just want to do sponge instead. I'm just going to hit OK. Right, what we're going to do is select our first one, which is going to go image, adjustments, and contrast. I'm going to take the contrast down by -80. And obviously it sort of it blends the colours together a bit more and takes away the harshness. It brings the 2 greys a lot closer together. I'm just going to do exactly the same in this layer, -80. Okay. Right, what we want to do is take the opacity of this top layer down just until that bottom layer starts to show through, which will probably happen around 30% or so, or maybe you can go high, sort of 45. You see how the sort of bottom more sharper layer has sort of come through. It's sort of slightly blended together. So I'm just going to put it on about 40. Okay. I'm going to select the top layer and I'm going to hold Control E, which will combine the 2 layers together. And then we're just going to go image adjustments. We're going to just down the contrast again. What I find with texturing is you want to be kind of subtle as possible. You don't want anything to stand out too much. So yeah, I've just taken it down to about 20. Right, I'm just going to name that base. Next thing we want to do is add a couple of just random overlay textures, just to kind of help add interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer, and I'm just going to paint a load of random stuff here. I have got a tablet at the moment. I've got lots of random crazy brushes. Let's just find one which should be, I don't want to save it. What's that? Try this one. So I'm going to just get a sort of crazy purple colour. I'm going to chuck a load of this on. This is going to run very slow apparently. Sorry about that. I think it's probably because I've got Max open as well. Tell you what, I'm going to just close Max for now. Yeah, we'll save changes. Hopefully that will make it run a little touch faster. I'm going to go into get some of these sort of limey greens. Just put some splotches all over the place. I'm also going to go in and add some blues as well. Maybe try a little bit of a different brush as well. What's this one do? Not much, apparently. Bit of yellow. Yeah. do have some hair brushes which I found quite good. I'm not sure what set they are. 20? 19? There we go. Just going to chuck this right up. I find it's quite good to sort of blend in the colours together. There we go, that will do. I'm going to put the blending option onto overlay. I'm going to just put the opacity down to about 10, and I'm going to put fill down to 50. Of course, you can keep fiddling with this until you're quite happy with it. Right, we're going to add another 2 overlay textures, both of which just add a bit of interest. So what I've got in this folder is a load of Dodge pictures, 69 there, but they're basically lots of images which I've got from cgtextures.com. Pretty damn good website. Well, doesn't really matter which images you choose, but I've got one concrete image, and I'm also going to take a metal image. I don't think I've got too many. Sorry about that. My housemate was knocking. Apparently there's some really random cat in my house while our cat is just sitting there looking at him. Anyway, what I was doing was just putting on a couple of random textures. So I've got one concrete one, and I'm going to just grab this metal one here, drag him into Photoshop. Alright, so I'm just going to go Control A and just drag him over to this image. Control T to transform. I'm just going to sort of size it up a bit better. Hit Enter, and I'm going to just take a chunk out of this one. I don't really want these holes. I'm just going to drag him over as well. And again, Control T just to bring a lot more of the details together. Right, both of these we want to put on overlay. As you can see, a lot of that detail has gone through onto our base texture, but quite a lot too much. I'm just going to put the opacity down to about 20 on each of them. Put the fill down to about 50 as well. And now it's just a matter of really just playing with the opacities and things until you're happy. So yeah, I've put both of them down to 10, fill 50. This guy's on 5 and 50. I might even bring him down a little bit more. But these are all things that you'll want to edit as you go along. Say this is just the base really. Overlay 1, overlay 2. 15 minutes. Okay, what I'm also going to do is just create a second folder here, drag it all the way to the top, and it's going to be called Grunge Details. I'm going to create about 4 layers in there. For the bottom one, speckle. Second one, random. Oh, random. Next one, scratches. And the last one, damage. I'm going to put all of these onto screen, and these are all the sort of detail layers. So obviously they're going to be little specky dots, random, blah blah blah, and they're all just going to have white painted on them. I think that'll probably be it for this tutorial. So I've just created this base texture, and oh, actually the last thing we're going to do is I'll just tell you about adjustment layers. What you'll find is that obviously this base texture at the moment is too light because we're going for more of a black because it's a Glock. And what you can do is adjust your colours through the brightness here. Just darken it right up. There's also levels, which are probably more similar to contrasts, but you can sort of make the darks darker, the lights lighter, and any which way in between. But what you'll find is, say you decided you want it about this dark, you slam OK, you'd start doing more work, but this comes up in your history, and sooner or later it's going to disappear out of your history and you're not going to be able to change it. What adjustment layers do is they come up more like a mask, and you've got a lot of the same tools. You've got your brightness, contrast, you've got levels, curves, colour balances, gradient maps, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to just slam OK. Oh, select a layer, brightness, contrast. Okay, so it's come up with a new layer here. It's got an alpha on, or a mask as Photoshop likes to call it. I'm just going to hit OK quickly. And what we can do is you can draw in here and pick and choose what areas are affected. Let's select these different brushes. Okay. I'm going to colour in half of this with black, and as you see it comes up on our mask just here. And basically white is affected and black is not affected. So what you'll notice is as I double click on here, bam, I can change the darkness and it will only apply to half of the texture. We can hit OK. And what's good about this, which is different to the other one I showed you just now, which goes through the history, etc., it stays as a layer which you can always open up and adjust. So I mean, what you'll find is you think that 1 minute this is a bit too dark, or it looks fine right now, and then when you start adding all your highlights and your lowlights, you find it's a bit too dark, and you can always go back in and make small adjustments, and it doesn't really bog you down at all or ruin your work and make you have to change loads of stuff at some point. So I use those quite a lot. To say there's also the levels, colour mixer, blah 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 blah. But that'll be it for now, I think. And I think, well, I'm thinking I'm pretty damn slow at texturing, and these tutorials may end up being a bazillion miles long. So I might just texture maybe the clip, the main bit of the gun, and the slide, possibly. I don't know, I'll see how it goes. But that's it for now.